Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Faith Loop. Glad you're with us today. It is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, day 2,111,943 of the Crisis of Identity. Sorry we missed you last week.
Last 2 weeks.
No, just last week. We were there the week before. Everybody's a bit under the weather, to put it lightly.
I thought it was 2 weeks.
Nope. No. Oh, we were here the Tuesday before on the 11th. We just missed last week.
Maybe so.
I know that.
I'm confused.
We were here on the 11th because because we had the notes and we did the show. We did the segment.
All right.
So, you have...
Between the weather and...
We missed the 18th is what we missed.
Weather and illness.
Weather, yeah. It seems like a long time, doesn't it?
Oh, man. Been in snow up to our necks. And
Yeah, I don't think we did that. Yeah, because we had the snow. I think we missed Pammy the previous last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the snow, we didn't do that.
No.
And so we only had done the one segment last week. So, there you go.
Yeah.
But we're back. And the sun's shining, and it's going to be like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm hip.
Well, me too.
Didn't have to wear a jacket
I might
this
go
morning.
sunbathe,
I know there are people breaking out shorts already, man.
I know. I'm not ready for that yet.
And I looked at the forecast over the next, it's supposed to be 60 on Saturday or Friday, and into next week in the 50s, low 50s. So maybe the squirrel was wrong or whatever they call that. Groundhog.
The groundhog, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he was wrong.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I watched it. I happened to catch it. It was on the news, actually. And here this guy standing there with this groundhog like this. I don't know if he saw his shadow or not. I don't even know if he had a shadow.
It was awfully cloudy. How did he see his shadow? Oh, that's what I'm wondering. It was. I've seen that. It's funny. Because even in the movie Groundhog Day, it's all cloudy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's overcast.
shadow? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? I don't know. Things we do, right?
Yep.
Things we believe.
I know. And it's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
There's hundreds of people
Yep, they show
in
up.
that little town.
They show up.
Yes, they do.
It's a big gig. Hey, if you can get away with it.
Sell some popcorn and hot dogs and cold drinks.
Said every year, man, we make the pilgrimage to
right.
Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and hotels are good, it makes some money. Stores get, shopped.
Oh, mercy. Well, that's not our topic today, though. I'm just saying. But I was, with everything going on, I'm always thinking about these things. And I always try to keep it relevant to what's going on. And a lot of times I'm thinking about stuff through the week and whatnot. And I'm coming into the office today, and I had an idea of some of the things I wanted to talk about today, but I'm listening to a couple gentlemen on the radio talking about conservatism and worldview, and they're talking about the Declaration of Independence, founding fathers, and all this. And worldview is a very interesting thing to me because, for instance, what is a worldview? And Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines this as a comprehensive conception or apprehension of the world, especially from a specific standpoint. Comprehensive. Well, you know what the word comprehensive means.
Well, I think I do.
Yes. It means a very large scope. It's comprehensive. In other words, you've gone through a rigorous search through information, literature, maybe even, lectures, whatever the case may be, based upon a conception that you believe is the way the world should be.
Right.
I don't know how many people have actually done that.
Probably not a bunch.
And, how comprehensive, what do you mean, how comprehensive is something? What do you go to church on Sunday and that's your idea of comprehensive as far as your worldview?
Mm-hmm. Well, it comes from comprehend.
Right?
So, if you there's academics that do it.
But what is the concept?
Right, and they study something maybe, and they just study, and they go back as far as they can. That's a comprehensive study, when you include everything, and it's a big deal.
Yeah, this comes from the German word weltanschauung, which means it began in 1858. And it basically means a philosophy of life. Mm-hmm. Worldview, we say today. Philosophy of life. Throughout the ages, mankind's been chasing existence. And I say it that way. We have accounts of creation from all parts of the globe, from different cultures. But what's interesting to me is we have all of this stuff. We have all this information. We have more information at our fingertips than what we've ever had in the history of mankind. And yet, we need artificial or man-made intelligence from an outside source to define existence for us, because evidently we can't compute well enough to get to the point where we need to understand what is it about the human mind that is not allowing us to come to these conclusions. Why can't we? Where can we? The infusion, this is what transhumanism about, the infusion of the technology with bio or biology. Technology and biology fused to create a new man. And this is what we're dealing with. And I think it's fascinating thought process, because I want to start with this. And I think I'm pretty sure Drew has these links in the description below. So all the links I'm referring to are in the description. You can go check these out yourself. I read this morning again. I read the Declaration of Independence this morning. And people think, yeah, man, Declaration of Independence, yeah, that's God. No, it's not. It's Enlightenment thinkers based on the same thought process as what we've seen from weltanschauung. Philosophy. It says, this is a unanimous declaration. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. There it is. And this is what people refer to right here. See, I heard this gentleman, they were talking about the Declaration, and they declared this, and it was mentioned, God was mentioned 4 times. Big deal. Do you know Molech was a god? They called him God. Baal. We call all these Zeus. And in fact, this statement, the laws of nature and nature's God, it's a form of a concept from Aristotelian philosophy, metaphysics, and natural law. Well, who did Aristotle worship? Jehovah? He was long before Jesus. I didn't know he was a proselyte to the Hebrew faith.
Don't think so. Don't think so.
What are we talking about? See, and this is what, and then we interpret this by our own means. Aristotle didn't have Jehovah or Jesus in mind at all. Do you think he did?
No, I know he didn't.
Did Plato?
No.
Huh.
No. They were Greeks, for Pete's sake.
Why?
How many gods were in their pantheon?
So tell me, you have a worldview.
Yeah. Nature's God is a pretty broad statement.
You think?
Yeah, I could,
Right?
Yeah.
He goes on, and this is, Thomas Jefferson is the author, and everybody, this great Thomas Jefferson. And he says, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. And then here's the famous part. We hold these truths to be self-evident. And now he enumerates these truths, what he believes are truths. That all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Worldview. Tell me what life is. Define life. Go ask a professor, a biology professor, what is life? How do we define it? Because liberty and the pursuit of happiness follow these things. Well, liberty in its truest form simply means to do as you please. You are at pleasure to do as you choose. That is a novel concept, but not true. Who is at liberty? Who is at pleasure to do as one chooses? Who? Because we talk about these things all the time. Well, within moral standards. Oh, so who defines morality? And the question goes on and on and on. Well, we define it by Christianity. I wouldn't. Have you seen the history of Christianity? Oh, that's troubling, isn't it?
Oh, but most people haven't. They don't even look.
Then people say, well, how can you say that? God told the Hebrews. Well, if it's Jehovah, he's the only one that has the right because he created us in the beginning. And if you have accepted that as a matter of existence, then you understand that the rebellion that mankind started created the sentence of death. And mankind sits under a sentence of death. And if we are unrepentant and are unwilling to be restored or to let go of our rebellion and come back into the house and live according to what we were given, that's where it stands. See, but we won't accept that, but go break a law. Hey, those people ought to be in jail. They ought to have the death penalty. They ought to have that, blah, blah, blah. But yet when it comes to Jehovah, well, man, it's grace. Everybody should get to go to heaven. Yeah. Whoa, wait, what? Wait. Why do we do that?
Well, it comes to mind in every movie that you see where there's a funeral depicted, some Christian minister standing at the gravesite, and the thing that he says at the end, in sure and certain hope of the resurrection. So everybody's going to be, what they're saying is everybody, no matter who you are, what you did, everybody is going to be resurrected into life and blessing and go to heaven. That's their idea still.
Yeah, the only truth to that is everybody will be resurrected.
Oh, yes.
But some will be resurrected unto death.
Yeah, to destruction, to judgment.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Now, believe that or don't. That's up to you. But this, to me, you're looking at this completely from a standpoint of what do you call God? And this is the point of it. He doesn't say Yahweh. He doesn't say Jehovah. He's not talking, even in Christian terms, if you believe in Trinity, who are you talking about? He doesn't mention Jesus at all. In fact, Thomas Jefferson didn't believe that Jesus was Messiah.
No, he did not. So look at his Bible. You can still get one.
Yes. He didn't believe it.
It's called the Jefferson Bible. Took out everything that was what we say miraculous. He took out everything. He didn't believe in the deity of Jesus. He didn't believe, I don't believe in the deity of Jesus, but I do believe he was the Son of God. And but he didn't believe in nothing. He didn't believe he resurrected.
Nope.
He took
I thought
all
he was
that
a
out.
good moral teacher.
Yeah,
that's
just
it.
a good moral teacher. He took everything out, and that's called the Jefferson Bible. You can still buy it.
Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Well, fantastic. What makes you happy? I always thought, because, see, here's another statement. The Declaration of Independence, that's it. He got that line from John Locke. Mm-hmm. In the 1600s, John Locke, but he said life, liberty, and the pursuit of property.
And if I'm not mistaken, they made him change that, right? They didn't want to put property in there.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think I've heard that somewhere, that there was a discussion about that.
Well, there was discussion through the whole,
right.
But I think that was originally his concept. Because property and whatnot, that was a big part of, the revolution in England. People forget there was a revolution in England. Mm-hmm. They cut the king's head off, man. The Protestants, remember the Magna Carta and all the stuff and whatnot? It was ugly violent.
Yeah.
Oliver Cromwell. I mean, Oliver Cromwell ran up and down England into Scotland, and honestly, he was just killing Catholics.
Yeah.
So, here we go. we
Just love
Christianity,
everybody.
right? Our history, man. I'm just like, whew, I don't know.
Just showing love everywhere.
Pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
as long as
dear
it's on my
Jesus.
terms. My wife and I watched a series. I don't think we've seen all of them yet, but it's called The Secrets of the White House. It's a documentary. If you want to see something, we found it on Hulu. And if you have Hulu, I challenge you to watch it. If you think that the men that founded this country were believers in Jesus, you got another thing coming. Mm-hmm. Go watch that series. It just tells the truth. Most of Washington,
He was a Freemason.
they were Freemasons. He was a 33rd degree Freemason. There's pictures of him in his Mason regalia. These men.
That's what sits. That's what's still in the. I think the rotunda of
Yes.
the Capitol building.
Yeah. And you look at the different things. It's an interesting series. It really is.
Yeah.
And my wife and I watching that, and I said, "Well, there you are." I said, "How can we think these men were anywhere near believers in Jesus?"
And then you go through, Christians, we're talking about this and whatnot, and we talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and this is one of the problems with it, except for the Indians and the black people.
Yeah, right. And the Chinese.
And the Chinese, I mean, do I agree with all the nonsense of what they're doing today with the race baiting and things like? No, I don't. I don't agree with it. Did those atrocities happen? Heck yeah. I watched a documentary last night on Wounded Knee.
Yeah.
And Dad has said this before here. There were 31 Medals of Honor handed out.
Yes. To the men that did that.
I mean, they killed women and children, man.
Yeah. And old men. There wasn't any of the warriors there
in
this village.
What started all was there was one of these Indians. There was I forget what his name at this point, but he was deaf. And he wouldn't put his rifle down. He would have, but before, and there's a couple different sides to it. They told both sides of the story. But in the end, the soldiers came to take it from him. The rifle went off, shot and killed a soldier. And it commenced.
Yep.
There were soldiers that died that day. There were, I think, 23 soldiers killed in the engagement as well.
Yep.
Sitting Bull was killed that day.
No, Sitting Bull was killed in his house.
Yeah. It was at that's what it was there that day. This is what it was talking about in this history
But
piece.
not at Wounded Knee. He was in his home in the Northwest, and they came in and shot him. Government agents came in and shot him on his front porch. Well, the guy that was the chief there was. There's a book and a movie called "I Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee," and that's where it was.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, but Chief, it wasn't Sitting Bull. The chief, they have a picture of him. He's laying on the snow and he's frozen, and his arms up in the air like this. What was his name? I can't remember the name. I can see the picture.
The killing of Sitting Bull led to Wounded Knee.
Yes.
Yes, it led
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
Find out what the chief's name was there, Drew, if you can.
Anyway, we're
Wounded Knee, yeah.
We're just going all kinds of crazy.
Oh
aren't we?
yeah, here.
We're
Well,
going to history.
having a good time,
Well, but see, we're talking about comprehensive,
Yes, let's be comprehensive then.
right? Look at the history of all of this, and we're talking about here's the Declaration of Independence, right? What is your worldview? Here you have, he goes on, he says, that to secure these rights, okay, here we go. We are endowed that they are endowed, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. What rights? Where are these listed? And I think this, to me, is where we've gone right off the rails. What is a worldview? The link is in there. This is from Masterclass. And you scroll down, what is a worldview? You have 4 examples: a humanist worldview, a naturalistic worldview, a postmodern worldview, and a religious worldview. Well, which one are you? And religious, what are you talking about? It says people of faith base their worldviews around the values and dogmas espoused in their sacred texts. For instance, if you choose to espouse a Christian worldview, you would base your philosophical assessments of reality and ethical beliefs on the teachings and ministry of Jesus Christ. People of faith often turn to apologetics or arguments in favor of their beliefs to make a case for their worldviews. To espouse a Christian worldview. Let's just take that one. Is it Catholic? Is it Orthodox? Or Reformed? Those are your 3 choices. Because Reformed theology and that worldview dictates what we basically see within the what we call Protestant and evangelical forms of Christianity.
Yep.
Then you have the Catholic, you have the Orthodox, and within Orthodoxy you have Eastern Russian, there's Ukrainian, Greek, Syrian, Coptic.
There's a bunch.
Roman Catholic. It's a difference right now in the fight since the Vatican II Council has been over the Latin Mass. And there are people that believe that if you don't say the Mass in Latin, God's not in it.
You don't even hear it.
Funny. He didn't look Roman. Kind of looked Jewish to me.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, but Latin is God's language. Not a lot like Hebrew, but
It's what we've said. It's what they dictate. So worldview, is that what you believe? Do you know that? Did you even know that? See, because you're not coming from a Roman Catholic viewpoint. Most people in this country are coming from a Reformed theology standpoint that has dictated the constructs of this nation and what we believe.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
That's why they left Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. They were tired of the persecution. It's a bad thing to disagree with them folks.
Then, and I'm doing little, because we only have so much time. Now I want to show you something. In this is also a worldhistoryedu.com. Creation myths from around the world. 13 creation myths in history. This was published by World History EDU on November 7th, 2020. Okay? Now, if you've never read this stuff, it would probably be interesting. It says, ever since the dawn of civilization, we humans have pondered where everything, including life, came from. It has been the case of why and how we and things around come to being. And so, with the passage of time, there have been quite a plethora of creation stories from different cultures and civilizations. Oftentimes, those creation stories form the foundations of many ancient religions across the globe. The 13 creation myths that we are about to explore are generally regarded as the most amazing creation stories of all time. of all time. Wow, that's deep. Heliopolis, I guess. Creation story. This is ancient Egypt. According to them, the universe started with a primordial ocean known as Nun. Well, that seems interesting that Genesis said that the earth was covered with. After the center of Nun was a giant pyramid called Ben. Deep within Ben came forth Atum, I think they call it. In some cases, Ra, the sun deity, the creator deity, as the physical embodiment of the sun. They were sun worshipers, which is most ancient cultures. I'm not going to read all this, but just to give you a little bit there. He also created the first Egyptian deities, and it talks about this. The union between Shu and Tefnut brought forth Geb, earth, and Nut, sky. Due to the immense love shared between Geb and Nut, the two deities remained inseparable. Atum then instructed Shu to separate Geb, the earth, from the Nut, sky. Just before Shu could carry out the task, Geb and Nut gave birth to famous Egyptian deities such as Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. And that's basically the story. Here's the Proto-Indo-European creation myth. Ymir was the force that existed in the time before time. This being was also the embodiment of the vast sea of chaos. Shocker. A region devoid of life from life form or structure or order. Thus, Ymir was there long before the famous Norse gods like Odin, Thor, and Freya. And that's where those things come from. One time, while suckling Adumhumula, which was the primordial cow, two enormous giants were asexually produced from Ymir's perspirations. The myth goes on to say that a third giant, equally as large as the first two, also emerged from Ymir's legs. Interesting, right? Mayan creation myth. You have the stories contained with Popol Vuh, also known as the Book of the Community or Book of the People. According to the text, the beginning of time was filled with nothingness, devoid of any structure or order. Shocker. Tepu, the maker, and Gukamats, the feathered spirit, joined their thoughts together to create the universe. They proceeded to create man. In their first attempt, they created man out of wet clay. However, that did not go as planned, and the clay crumbled apart. So they created man out of maize dough. There you go. I'm gonna keep going on. You can go read these. I would, because I'm gonna share something at the end of this that I really believe about and why I've read these and I look at the whole thought process. Babylonian creation myth. You have two primordial gods, Aspu and Tiamat. Prior to that, the universe was vast, void of nothingness. Land and sky had yet formed. Shocker. There it is again.
Yeah.
Tiamat and Aspu mated and gave birth to a new crop of gods, and it is believed that Tiamat grew enormous amount of hatred toward the new gods. Tiamat set out to destroy them. This led by Marduk.
Marduk's mentioned in the book, isn't he?
In the Bible, yes. The gods threw a strong, powerful net over Tiamat. Once trapped in the net, the gods beat Tiamat to a pulp and cracked her skull. Tiamat's body was then dismembered. Half the body was used to create the sky, while the other half used to create human beings. Plants, animals, creatures, that's what that is. Creation of mankind according to the ancient Greeks. In ancient Greece, the predominant creation story was one that involved the Greek titan Prometheus. You've heard of Prometheus, the titan who created man. And you hear a lot of these words used in English in our culture today, titans, Prometheus, we make movies. In the beginning, the world was endlessly empty and full of a being known as Nyx, the deity of darkness. The goddess Nyx is believed to have laid a golden egg. After sitting on the egg for eons of years, the egg hatched, producing the deity of love. Guess. Eros.
Arrows, yeah.
The broken shells of the egg became the sky and the earth. The earth was called Gaia, also known as the goddess of earth. On the other hand, the sky was called Uranus. The goddess of Gaia and the god Uranus mated, bringing forth a new generation of gods known as the Titans. And that's where you have Tethys, Phoebe, and Kronos, Oceanus, Chrysis, Epetus. This is where Kronos is the one that the Olympian gods, all of that, okay? And it come down to that. And it was the Olympian gods that created the humans. After the battle of the Titans, Zeus commanded Prometheus and his brother Epiphanes to go down to earth and create the first humans. Blah, blah, blah. That's where that comes from. Commanded Prometheus and his brother
Excuse me.
Epiphanes to go down to earth and create the first humans. Blah, blah, blah.
Come on.
Just hit the volume there, Dad.
There it is.
A new creation story. You have, it's a similar, this is from Japan. According to Ainu people, the creator god dispatched his trusted water wagtail to create the land from the cosmic ocean. Sound familiar? The raven creation story is many in Native American cultures. The raven is arguably the most powerful creature in the entire cosmos. In one myth, the raven is believed to have encountered an adult man who approached to inquire about the man's whereabouts. The man is believed to have told the raven that he lived in the inner regions of a pea pod for 4 days, and on the 5th day, the man came out of the pod a full-grown man. Okay? Creation story according to Zoroastrianism. Now, Zoroastrianism, if you're not familiar, that's what much of the Iranian people were originally. It was Persian.
Yeah, the Persians.
Yes.
There's still some there. Not
Yes.
many, but there's still some.
Exactly. Zoroastrianism states that there existed two opposing deities in the beginning of time. Ahura Mazda and Angra Mainya, the deity of light and the deity of darkness. Shocker. Together with his archangels, Amesha Spentus, holy immortals, Ahura Mazda divided the universe into two sections, the spiritual section and the physical section. This is where you get the dualism and spiritualism and these types of things. It is believed that the physical section was created about 3,000 years after the spiritual section. Okay. At this time, Ahura Mazda's perfect man and bull died after succumbing to it is believed that Angra Mainyu created scary animals such as ants, flies, mosquitoes, snakes, spiders. Ahura Mazda was creating his perfect beings in man. So there you have that difference there. The Sumerian creation myth is Eridu Genesis. This is An, Sky, Enki, god of water, knowledge, and mischief. This is one of the more famous ones. In the account of the myth, the gods collectively decided that mankind is not worth saving from a massive flood. However, Enki, the god of waters, proceeds to warn an upright man by the name of Atrahasis. Shocker. Enki instructs Atrahasis to construct an ark so that he could save humanity from the deluge. Now, this is where many people believe the biblical narrative came from the Sumerian, which I don't believe, for the simple fact that I believe the Genesis narrative, as late as it was, we have the account, the Hebrews believe it's a correction to all of this mess. That's my belief. Hindu creation story, I'm going to let you, because we're getting close on time, and then, of course, the Genesis creation story. You also have the Yoruba, the golden chain myth. This comes from African nation Nigeria. There we go. You have the creation myth of the Chinese. And so, there are a lot of that's all those, you can go read those. What you'll find, and what I found interesting about all of this, was in these stories, there was nothing that talked about what life is. Earth and sky, all the creation, all of those things are there. There's all these different beings, which even the Bible talks about, watchers and whatnot. So, the people that are atheistic or don't believe in creation, fine, whatever. It is natural. We're procreative even in our own existence. So creation itself, I believe, period. But why would I believe one of these creation myths? What we're talking about worldview. Why would I believe something like this? Why do I believe in life, liberty? Why do I set my mind to these things? Why do I set... All of the stuff we have in the Declaration comes through the Greek culture, through Aristotelian thought, especially the Enlightenment thinking. It's all metaphysics, natural law, and things of that. So if it's God's nature, you're talking about the Greek gods there. That's what Aristotle believed in. So what are we talking about? And I look at all these and I think to myself, if you read through all of them, the only one that defines being in any way, shape, or form is the Genesis narrative. Let us go down and make man in our image and likeness. We have them coming out of eggs. We have them coming out of sweat. Nothing defines life or being except for the one narrative. The one. If you look at Darwin, primordial soup, man is existing out of time plus chance. What does that mean? There's no meaning. There's no purpose. None of these carry any kind of meaning or purpose. Even life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. What meaning is that in that? Because you can't define life, and they still haven't defined life. So to me, that is at the crux of all of this. And the only definition of life comes from the one who gave it, in his image and likeness. And if we will accept that, we can come, and this is what Jesus came to show us. Not a trinity, but an understanding of life. I have come that you might have life, and that more abundantly. He didn't say I'm the Trinity and all this. He didn't say any of that. Nowhere did Jesus ever say any of those things. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man comes to the Father except in this way, in the way I'll show you. Life. We never talk about life. We love to use the word religion, and nobody knows what it means. We love to use the word Christianity, and nobody knows what it means. This is our problem. And we leave life way off in the distance in this intangible construct.
Yep.
There's my 2 cents.
Well, you know, Paul said it. And he lived in a day where all these other nations were fully involved in their worship of their gods.
Yep.
And he said this, and he wasn't just talking to those kind of people. He was talking to those who believed and so forth. But he's talking to a bunch of people who didn't believe either. And he said this. He said, if Christ did not raise from the dead, then let's eat and drink and be merry, for tomorrow we die. What's the sense? So, you know, what he said there was really a mouthful. You see people today, and in every school and every university, everywhere, they tell you to strive to do this, go out, man, make a good living, make a lot of money, do this, do that, be successful. Oh, yeah. Why?
Right.
What for?
Right.
Solomon said it. He said, I've got all this, and I'm going to leave it to somebody that's going to just waste it. Destroy it. Of course, I'm saying it in my own language here, my own paraphrasing, but that's what he said. He talked a lot about what he was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, all the dictators that have ever raised up, all the men who have tried to order society after their own idea are gone. They're gone. Or they will be. So what was it for? What was it for? What's anything for unless there's something else to look forward to? And I know people say, well, I believe, you know, a lot of people, you talk to them and say, well, I don't want Jesus to come back right now, you know, because I got all this stuff I got to do. Really? Really? So why don't we just have a big hickey party and forget it, you know, and go on down the road, and who cares? If this is all there is,
Yeah.
if there's no life, and that's what Brian and I are talking about,
Yes.
true life.
Yes.
This is existence, yes, but it's only for a period of time, and the only way to enter into a eternal existence is through Jesus, the Son of God, the Son of Jehovah. It's the only way.
That's it. Because and you go look for yourself. Read these things. Look and see if what I'm telling you is true. Because this is what I've seen. And if we don't start looking at life and what that is, it's the first thought that Jefferson put down.
Yes.
It's the first thought that John Locke put down. It's the first thought that anybody life.
Yeah. But they didn't understand what it was.
And this is our problem.
Yep.
And we are unwilling, you know, and people go, well, what about Islam? Well, they're looking to Allah, but which means El, strength. Same thing as what the Hebrews. But do we understand and will we put down our own pursuits of what life is? And you think, well, you're just promoting Christianity. I'm going to tell you right now, I am not promoting Christianity. Now, this is a tough one for people. I don't believe in Christianity. The forms and what it does, I don't. Look at its history. Look at what we've created about it. It is a form and institutions of men that have bound people to governments, to nations, for their own purpose. None of it has brought life. In fact, most of it is death and destruction. No different than what Islam has done, or the Hindus have done, or any of them. I'm not professing that. I'm professing life. I believe in Jesus, but Jesus didn't come to create Christianity, folks. That's not what he came to do. He came to bring life, and that more abundantly. And we have to strip away all of these things to be able to see the truth that we were created in his image and likeness. Every one of these stories basically starts with the earth was covered. There's chaos and disorder, and all of them. Where'd that come from? Where was that? How'd that come down through? So how do we sift through all of this? Are we going to accept it? Are we going to accept Jesus as the Son of Jehovah?
Right. Comes right down to that.
Doesn't it?
Yep. It does, son.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I hope that helps. Like I said, the links are there. Go read this stuff. You go, here it is. I'm sharing with you the things that I've seen the Lord has shown me, because I do believe he talks to us.
Yeah.
Very much so. Go ahead, Dad.
Drew, did you find his name?
Oh,
I don't want to leave it hanging.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yes.
Chief Bigfoot.
Yes.
Black Coyote was the death.
Black Coyote was the Indian that was deaf. So there you go. We didn't leave you hanging on that.
Yeah. Famous picture of him laying in the snow. He's terrible.
Thanks, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. Always remember to give love
And give life.
and give Jesus.